And welcome to KPVI More. I'm Matt Davenport, and while Libby's off this week, we have KPVI More Guest Host Week. Joining us today are two guys who are no strangers to East Idaho airwaves, Sean Green and Don Craig from Rock 102.5. Thank you guys for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
Here we go. We're talking radio, and this is kind of interesting because this is a field that I think we all share a lot in, having grown up in radio. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your guys' individual journeys in the radio world. Sean, let's go ahead and start with you. Tell us a little bit about how you got into radio and what kind of influences you.
Oh, how did I get into radio? I got a phone call from the right person at the right time, and this guy decided to hire me, and that was a dozen years ago or so. But
really that long?
It has been that long. Yes, it has.
That's only like 3 months in radio time, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. But as for my influences, the first time I remember being on the radio, I was this big. My sisters had, goaded me to call up and request air supply and stuff like that, which I can't believe I just admitted on television, but regardless.
Well, you preface that by saying you were goaded by your sisters.
Oh, so you bet. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But, as for my influences, I listened to a lot of stuff over the years. My family was a big influence on my music. Everything from my brother bringing in his big old pile of Black Sabbath records when I was 8 years old and hand them to me. That's where I cut my teeth on rock music, was with that.
Wow.
So it's just been a long journey of loving the radio, and one day I eventually was the right place, the right time.
So was it one of those type of things where you said, I really like music and I would like to, you listen to the DJ growing up, and it's like, that's something that I want to do?
Actually, it was. I mean, I never thought, boy, I'm going to be a DJ when I grow up, but I thought I could be a DJ when I grow up. But, that was way out of my league. Heck, those people were professionals. They knew what they were doing. So.
Yeah, they had the big voices.
Exactly,
and all that kind of stuff. So did you contact Don, or did he call you? Tell me more about this right place, right time.
It was actually his brother-in-law who was working at the station at the time, and he was related to my current wife at the time, and they just happened to talk to each other, and he said, well, I'm working at the station, and she was my girlfriend at the time, said, oh, my boyfriend would be great at that. If you ever have any openings, call. Well, 2 weeks later, I got a phone call. So
when they brought you in, what were your duties at the station?
Pushing buttons for NASCAR. That was it.
Was it one of those type of, okay, you're going to work Saturdays and Sundays, and then eventually, when did you get to the on-air portion?
It was working Saturdays, Sundays, did a lot of homework, while I was doing the NASCAR on the weekends. And then, things just came around. It was actually, 9/11 was my first day on the air, and it was kind of we need someone. What can you do? And so I just did a few weathers here and there, and then after that, it just kind of progressed on after that.
Wow. All right. Don Craig, a lot of people know you in this market. You've been around for a couple of years. You spent a couple years away. You've come back. You've gone away. You've come back. Tell me a little bit about how you first got your start in radio.
I've wanted to do it since I was a kid. I used to listen to, I'm originally from New York, and back then it was just AM radio.
Right.
And I would pull the covers over my head, turn on my little radio.
Little transistor with a...
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And I would listen to WLS Chicago.
Oh, wow.
When I was growing up in New York.
Yeah.
I listened to the DJs, Larry Lou Jack, and John Records Landecker, and those guys. And the local DJs, I was, that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And, took a little break in the Army for a while, and then when I came back, I went to school. There was a school in Salt Lake, broadcasting school, and then all my years have all been in Idaho, various cities.
Yeah.
All the big ones: Lewiston, Boise, Twin. And most of it here in East Idaho.
Covered it north, south, east, west.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what was your, how did you first get hired into a radio job?
It was, can I mention call letters? Or
Absolutely, yeah.
It was actually KID.
Okay.
And it was, at the time, AM, FM, TV, when all three of them were together. On the AM station, Mel Richardson hired me.
Oh, wow.
Worked with Bob Burtonshaw. These guys are legends in East Idaho radio. And I had the privilege of working with them when I was just a newbie, when I was just, and like Sean, just pushing buttons on a Sunday morning, running specialty programming, ran American Top 40.
Okay.
And that's how it started in Idaho Falls, and eventually got a chance to go on air.
And eventually you got worked your way to KMGI, where
Yes.
let's see, I think you worked every shift there.
Pretty much. Pretty
You
much.
did
From
middays,
overnights,
mornings, evenings, overnights.
Yeah, that was coming back from Boise. I'd worked in Boise and Twin, and the owner of KMGI at the time owned stations in Boise, and they had an opening for a morning show.
Oh, cool.
And that was about 1991.
Oh, wow.
And so they hired me. It was an internal hire because I was already on the company payroll in Boise, and came back here and started doing morning shows. Went through various partners, Von Kaufman, Don and Jim. Jim Christopher is probably the most famous. Was Don and Jim in the morning, but several morning show partners, and happy to be working with Sean now.
So let's talk a little bit about this. You are now back to waking up early in the morning.
Yes.
Both of you. Of course, you've been doing it for a few weeks now, and the alarm clock getting to be your friend, your enemy.
Oh, enemy. Absolutely. Actually, the cat is more my alarm clock than anything. My watch or my phone will go off, and I'll hit it a couple times, and the cat comes over and just starts licking my face.
Okay, there you go. So you guys are now getting up early in the morning because you're doing a new morning show. You've kind of had a little bit of a change at KMGI. Tell us about that.
We have been classic rock we were the first classic rock station in Idaho, actually back in '89, and have been playing classic rock ever since. And we decided that we want to keep a lot of the classic rock, but also, as people get older, what's I know. What's classic to them may not be traditional classic rock. So we decided to expand the playlist a little bit into the 90s, some Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters, Soundgarden, STP, Alice in Chains, that sort of thing, and right on into even a little bit newer, Nickelback, things like that. But still keep the classics, and we call it world-class rock, and that way we're not pigeonholing ourselves as a classic rock station. What people
because like you said, people have different definitions of what classic should be, depending pretty much on when you went to high school.
That has
Exactly.
and that's has a lot to do with it.
That's usually when you come into your music maturity.
Exactly.
Is those songs that you hear, when you're a junior, senior, sophomore, in those years in high school,
and
or
into college, in your first few years in college, and people who are 20 years old, 18, 19, 20, 21, and graduating high school and moving into college now are,
have their own kids going into high school.
Exactly. if you think back, a 40-year-old guy who is kind of in the middle of who we're trying to reach. 20 years ago when he was 20, that was 92, and that's when the grunge and was really making
the Seattle sound came around.
Was starting to hit, and that's what they remember. But not to say that they don't like the Doors and they don't like Skynyrd and
the appreciation for music.
So we tried a little bit of everything.
So what can people expect from the new morning show team of Don and Sean?
A lot of craziness.
Yes, sir.
A lot of we're still kind of. It takes a little while to develop chemistry. We have that, and it's just timing and chemistry and just getting to know each other.
Whoever's awake the most at that hour in the morning.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Some days it might be Sean, some days it might be Don.
Exactly.
And you guys are doing some giveaway stuff too around East Idaho. What are you doing?
You bet. We're doing the Day of 1,000 Prizes, and that's going on Thursday, isn't it? Yes, and we're just going to go up and down the valley, Rexburg, all the way down to American Falls. Exactly, yeah. Don said we were going to possibly hit Wapello, so
wow.
Yeah. We're
coming to your town.
Exactly, yeah. So, and we're just going to be giving away, like we said, 1,000 prizes.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Sean Green, Don Craig, it's good to hear you guys back on the air together, and we expect great things from you guys.
Appreciate it.
The
Thanks
bar is going to be set pretty high, so we expect you guys to hit that. Thanks for joining us on More. We really appreciate that.
Hey, thank you, Matt.
We'll let you guys go take a nap because you're going to need it. All right, thanks. Now, that's going to bring us to our question of the day. Today's question, what song would you like to request from Sean and Don? Go to our Facebook page at KPVI 6 and let us know your answer.